This week on GamePron News, it's official. There will be 4-person multiplayer in Mass Effect 3. Less happy news sees Rocksmith's European launch delayed and the PlayStation Network struck by yet another security scare, while the Xbox 360 dashboard is looking for beta testers. The latest Humble Bundle raised a packet for charity. There's been a bit of action in the world of indie pre-orders. Blizzard invites controversy with its latest pet, and iPad gamers distracted by iOS 5 are taken by surprise when Scribblenauts pops up out of nowhere. Hi, I'm Jessica Citizen. Finally, it's official. Mass Effect 3 will contain 4-person multiplayer, and it's been implemented in a way that will not mess with your single-player story. Instead, Electronic Arts and BioWare have created the Mass Effect 3 A Galaxy at War system, an entire suite of Mass Effect games and applications, each one linked to the main storyline, but still remaining separate.
Multiplayer could be a complement to Commander Shepard's very rich, engaging, single-player story experience. You'll be able to join your friends for 4-player co-op missions where you're really fighting for control of locations throughout the galaxy. But what's really amazing about multiplayer in Mass Effect 3 is that for the first time you'll be able to take control of characters that you've never been able to play before. You can be an Asari, you can be a Drell, you have access to all the different classes and many of the different races that you've seen in the Mass Effect series but you haven't been able to play before.
The progress you make in each new component will help Commander Shepard rally the forces of the galaxy, but at the same time, if you choose not to explore them, you won't be penalised. The news, predictably, is polarising the games community, many of whom believe BioWare has jumped the shark or somehow jeopardised the award-winning single-player gameplay. Even more upsetting to the masses, however, is the news that Mass Effect Galaxy at War will only be activated using an online pass, signalling that BioWare has clambered onto the bandwagon of preventing used game sales. In further disappointing news, Ubisoft has revealed that Rocksmith, their impending foray into the music game genre, will not make it to Europe by Christmas. Claiming music licensing and other external factors, Ubisoft representatives are discouraging frustrated Europeans from acquiring the game through other means. The official statement included a warning against such behaviour, explaining that the Xbox 360 version of the game is region-locked, the PS3 version of the game is not region-locked but does not support PAL, and even if you can get around that bit, the PlayStation Network store is region-locked, so you won't be able to access any downloadable content. This isn't the first spot of drama for the game, which allows you to plug your real guitar into your console and create beautiful music. Earlier this year, a British band kicked up a little fuss over the title that Ubisoft had chosen. The band's name, Rocksmith, which they've been using for years now, going so far as to register a trademark. No mention of whether or not this court case was one of the external factors prompting the game's delay. In other news, the PlayStation Network was compromised again this week, with Sony announcing that roughly 93,000 network accounts had been affected. That's less than 0.1% of the network itself. Learning a lesson from the massive downtime earlier this year, Sony Chief Information Security Officer Philip Reitinger announced the security breach as soon as the company spotted it and locked down the affected accounts. Apparently, third-party websites had been hacked and email addresses and passwords stolen. These combinations were then thrown at the Sony networks to see which people were silly enough to use the same password on multiple accounts. Sony reports that only a small fraction of the 93,000 affected accounts had recorded additional activity prior to being locked, but that anyone recording both a sign-in and password match through the recent attack will now require a secure password reset. Check your associated email inbox to find out if that includes you. From PlayStation to Xbox, Microsoft is now accepting beta sign-ups for the shiny new Xbox 360 dashboard, which promises a more Metro UI approach similar to Windows Phones 7 and 8. We're told that Kinect will play a bigger part with both voice and gesture controls, and that you can expect Facebook functionalities, cloud storage for both profiles and game saves, and beacons, a new social broadcasting feature. YouTube support and Bing search capabilities will be beefed up too, so if you want in on all of this, head to the Xbox website and sign up. The Humble Frozen Synapse bundle ended this week, with the indie group raising more than $1.1 million in total. That money is split 4 ways between the game developers, the bundle organisers, and the charities Child's Play and the Electronic Frontier Foundation, so we're assuming each group got a pretty hefty slice of proceedings. This time around, things were a little different. The pay what you want model had been tweaked so that donations above the current average not only received Frozen Synapse, Space Chem and Trauma, but also the 5 Humble Frozen Byte bundle games too. We'll wait to see the verdict on how that little arrangement worked out. Over the 2 weeks the bundle was on sale, the average purchase price increased by 31 cents, so we're not sure that it took off quite as well as expected. As usual, Linux gamers were prepared to spend more than twice the money offered by their PC brethren. There's some interesting pre-order news in this week too. Afterfall Insanity is trying something new. Developer Nicholas Games has announced that you can buy the game for just $1 and you'll get the game soundtrack for free as well as your name in the credits. There is, of course, a catch. 10 million gamers have to take up the deal, otherwise the whole thing's off. It might be an ambitious deal, but surely there are plenty of people in the market for a post-apocalyptic survival horror game, right? The news from Goldhawk Interactive is less good, however. In scenes reminiscent of the Minecraft lockdown last year, Goldhawk claims that PayPal has locked down and closed the company's account, effectively killing all pre-orders for the game Xenonauts. At least $4,000 is tied up in red tape for the next 180 days, with the company no longer able to accept pre-order payments through that account. Fortunately, Goldhawk explains that losing this decent amount of cash is not enough to end the entire project, but it will make things a little bumpy for a while, particularly as pre-orders cannot be reopened easily and that they provided the only source of income for the developer. Money is proving to be a bit of a drama all over the place as Blizzard announces a new pet for World of Warcraft. This one can be bought with real money and then traded for in-game gold. Gamers are a little bit concerned that this may open the doors for real money trading, something which was exploited to great effect in Mabinogi earlier this month, prompting the entire game to be taken offline on October 4th, and it still hasn't returned. Blizzard claims that the newest cuddly resident of Azeroth, the Guardian Cub, has been designed to provide alternative ways for players to get pets even if they don't want to spend real money. Blue Poster Bashiok also explains that no new gold is being introduced into the economy and hopes that the new pet will actually reduce the incidence of gamers being scammed with fake pet codes. And finally, while so many games these days are given a ridiculously long lead-up period announced months if not years in advance, Warner Bros. And Fifth Cell have bucked the trend, announcing casually that, Scribblenauts Remix is now available for iOS. The game is a blend of the first 2 Scribblenauts games for DS, plus a bunch of new levels created specifically for the iPhone, iPad and iPod Touch. The classic Scribblenauts mechanic, which sees you entering words to create objects, is suited perfectly to Apple's handhelds, and we're wondering why it took them so long to make the leap. Throw in Game Center and the new iOS 5 iCloud Save functionality and you're in for a treat. Stop paying attention to me and go buy it for yourself. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen and this is GamePron News.